Okay.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Facebook.
Hey, Facebook.
It's Keisha.
Tanisha.
With Real Talk here on Saturday, bringing you episode 2 out of a series of 4. Our first series that we brought to you. Well, just to say that this is a homebuyer preparedness series of talks that we're having. So last week was
Pre-gaming.
Yes, pre-gaming strategy. Why should I buy a home? So
Why?
if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see the pre-gaming strategy of why you should buy a home.
Yeah.
This week is the neutral zone.
How to qualify for a loan.
How to qualify for a
We're
loan.
going to talk about those things, credit, all that kind of good stuff. We're going to dive into it.
Yeah, and that's Tanisha's specialty.
Hi, it's my specialty, you guys. Thank you for tuning in today.
Yes.
And of course, this is Real Talk with the beautiful Keisha Matthews and Tanisha Broadway. And Keisha, please introduce yourself.
I am Keisha Matthews, the broker owner of Matthews & Company Realty Group and owner of Urban Core Rentals Property Management, and I am with the lovely Miss
Tanisha Broadway, thank you. Loan officer with American Pacific Mortgage and senior vice president of the Sacramento Realtors Organization. And how y'all doing today?
Hey, everybody.
What was hot out there today?
Yes.
Hot out there.
And in keeping with the football theme, I forgot to bring I scored a 49er, how come I can't say it? I can't think of it all the time. The draft hat.
Cool.
So I scored a 49er draft hat, and I meant to bring it in to show you guys because it is
nice.
Oh, it's sweet.
I was looking forward to seeing this.
I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Next episode?
Next episode, I'll wear my draft hat.
Cool. And I might come out the pocket with something. I don't know, but we'll see what I can pull out.
But you know what I just thought too? I still love Colin.
Me too. I love Cap.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wear my Colin jersey and my draft hat in honor of Colin.
In honor of Colin. I'm gonna see what I can pull out, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still what are we in, football season? No, we're on baseball season. Basketball season is about to start. You know that young kid Lonzo Ball, we were talking about him.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty good.
I heard. So I give him a couple of years, to get it right. His dad kind of put some pressure on him, and so
he put some pressure. But you know what? The guy he might be a genius. I don't know.
Yeah.
He might be. We'll have to see.
If that genius is there, it'll come out for sure.
It sure will.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, hey everybody. So this morning we were at the Anti-Woman March.
Yes,
downtown.
I heard about that. I didn't get to make it.
It was awesome. There had to be thousands of people there. We started at 7:30. By the time we actually marched at 10, a little after 10, throngs and throngs of people, all marching in solidarity for women's rights, black women's rights, and in particular bringing up the names of the women who've been hassled by the police and lost their lives and just struggling unnecessarily. Inequality, and unfortunately, as much as we like to believe that we are free in America, there are just some areas where we are not free.
Absolutely.
And we have a long way to go.
We have a long way to go.
We got some mindsets that need to change.
Yes, we do.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides, because there are people that need to, in my opinion, take advantage of the rights that we do have to better themselves.
Absolutely.
To educate yourself.
Education.
Yeah.
Just like in what we're talking about here and what the Sacramento Realtors Organization is also about. Advocating for black home ownership. That's what we're about. It's about educating yourself, knowing what your rights are, knowing what's available to you, being tagged in to the right resources to help you get to that next place.
Because the way that we get stronger as a people and our voices are heard is when we have financial power and political power. And so with that being said, that's why we're doing these episodes and these shows. Homeownership. Homeownership is one way to increasing your wealth. Homeownership is the fastest way to increase your net worth, and homeownership also gives you that ability to be able to have a voice and be heard in your community. When you're renting, you are paying somebody else's mortgage, but when you own that home, you have rights, and there are things that happen that you are more concerned about and more aware of as a homeowner than you are as a renter. And it doesn't apply, but in general. So that's why we're here today, to get you ready for that.
That's what Real Talk with Keisha and Tanisha is all about.
Exactly.
Being your one-stop shop
yes.
for your homeownership needs.
Right.
Being a resource for you, helping to educate you and be an advocate for you guys. And just like she said, this is why we're doing this series, and so we're excited about this
right.
this next segment, which is how to qualify your credit. If you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know.
Right.
And so
you don't know that you don't know.
Or you don't know that you don't know.
But we're going to let you know.
We're going to let you know. I like that.
Yeah. Take it away. Take it away.
So I'll just kind of jump into it, and then Keisha, she'll jump right in after it. So what I want to talk about too right now, some credit scores, down payment, debt to income, explored a little bit. And then I'll break this down right here. So the neutral zone is the area between the offense and the defense at the start of the play, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So emotions are sky high mm-hmm. At this point because it's getting ready to go down, right?
Right.
No one knows the outcome, but everybody's focused on giving their best to get the goal of winning the game.
Right. Right.
In the neutral zone, absolutely. In the neutral zone of buying a home, emotions run high, and there's a lot of uncertainty as you await the green light that you've been pre-approved and then fully approved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
right.
then in the neutral zone, you'll bring all that you have to the table, lay it out, get ready to play, and let's go.
Right, right.
So credit scores, and I'll just kind of jump into it real quick. You want to know where your credit's at. Mm-hmm. If you haven't had your credit pulled, you need to get your credit pulled. Do not use, we've stressed this over and over and over again. Keisha, who don't you use?
Do not use Credit Karma and rely on Credit Karma's scores to determine that that's where your credit score is. That's not a good, it's just a general,
it's kind of like a generic overview.
Yeah.
Might have on
right.
your credit, show you which, if you're pulling your credit, it'll give you an idea of some of the liabilities that are showing up.
Right. But when you see that score, in your mind, you're going to think, that's where I am. But when you sit down with your lender, the lender is going to say, oh, no, honey.
No, honey, that's
we use
not it.
this score, and this score. And out of all of those scores, we take the middle score.
The middle score. This happens all the time.
Yeah.
It is very frustrating. And so people don't use these third-party, credit companies that you can use on your own, Credit Karma,
mm-hmm.
myfico.com.
Mm-hmm. Use them just to kind of allow you to see where you kind of are in general. But don't use it as a hard, fast rule to say, oh, I need this to qualify for this. Don't use it for that purpose.
Don't do it. It's a bad idea. So sit down with a lender or me, and I can pull your credit. So my company, I can go down to a 580. So if you have at least a 580 FICO, you can get some financing. Now there's a lot of things within that, and we can definitely talk one-on-one. But at least know where you are.
So if someone qualified for a 580, what does that look like as far as them qualifying for a loan? What kind of loan would they get, and what kind of money would they need to come in with?
For sure.
With a 580.
So with the 580, that's going to be your FHA financing. And we can get you pre-approved with as little as 3.5% down with that 580 score.
That's good.
So, I mean, it's a way to get your foot in the door and to get you starting to own something while you're building your credit and maybe getting to a better scenario as time goes on. But it's a starting point for you.
Right.
Ideally, you're going to want to get that score as high as possible. If you're looking at down payment assistance, which is, I'll jump in a little bit of that, I'm going to need your score to be at a 640.
There's a difference. So down payment assistance is 640. An FHA with 3.5% down, 580. So if you've got a score in the lower area, you need to have more money to put down.
You have your own money.
You don't have to have 20%, but 3.5% is about $10,000 to $12,000 on a $250,000, $300,000 home.
They're going to want to see some skin in the game.
Yes.
So you're going to have to come up with your own money with that FICO of that low. But again,
with a better score.
Yeah. There's money out there for you guys. There's resources.
Yes.
There's grants where that's money that you don't have to pay back. So if you need a down payment, then I'll be able to provide you with the grant. And again, that's money that you don't have to pay back. And
that's at the 640 credit
That's at the 640, yeah. Then there's down payment options where it's actually a loan, and then it would become, due back. And there's different programs within that. But there's options out there. Once you get to that sweet score of that 640, things begin to open up for you.
640 is that sweet spot.
That sweet spot, guys.
We need t-shirts that say that. 640 is the sweet spot.
Like that, guys. We should get some t-shirts, man. I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
What else do we got? Oh, debt to income. So I'll jump on that real quick. So debt to income ratio, you guys. And I know you've heard the term, and if some of you may not really know or understand what that means. So it's, how much you have going out versus how much you have coming in. That's the easiest way to explain it. So if you're paying all these bills, credit card bills, car notes, things that are reporting on your credit report every month, those are your outgoing liabilities. That number, and then how much income you're bringing in.
Yeah.
You divide those two, and that gives you your debt to income ratio. That number is very important, okay? Because depending upon what kind of program you're in, that number is going to play a major role in what you can get qualified for.
Right.
So that down payment assistance, your debt to income ratio is going to have to be pretty low. There are some options where your debt to income ratio can be pretty high, but you're not going to get the assistance. So it just depends, and we'll have to do, like I said, a one-on-one consultation to figure out where your debt to income ratio is, and then what programs you would qualify for based off of your own specific debt to income ratio.
So the lower the debt, the better the opportunity.
Oh my God, all day long. So the rule of thumb is, you guys, you want to keep your balances below 30%. So, if you're paying on credit cards, I know it's difficult if you have like a car note, but let's say you have credit cards, things like that, you want to get your balances as low as possible.
Right.
That's going to give you the most movement in a positive direction for your score.
Yeah.
And just keeping your debt to income ratio low. So those are a couple of the key things that we want to focus on today that you need to really dive into when you're getting prepared here for the game plan. What is it, for combat? For the...
we're in the neutral zone, getting ready to go to war.
Getting ready to go to war. Credit, your credit score, your down payment, and your debt to income ratio, or DTI. Remember those things, keep those in mind.
Yes. Yeah. Very good, very good. So, earlier this week, I actually posted to our business page 10 don'ts to help you sail through the loan process.
There's some don'ts.
Yes, so things that you should not do when you get approved, once you get approved. When you get pre-approved for a loan, that is the financial picture or financial screenshot that qualifies you to make your purchase. Any of those things any of the factors in which you get qualified on, if any of those things change, you can become disqualified immediately and no longer, your whole transaction will fall apart. I know you've heard the horror stories of how someone purchased a car or something before the transaction closed, or went and took out bought some appliances from Lowe's because they were preparing to move home.
Literally.
And so Lowe's said, hey, do you want 20% back, and open up an account? And they're all, yeah. And not realizing that that's going to go against the credit score. And guess what the lender is going to do right before escrow closes? They're going to check Tanisha's going to check your credit score again, like the day before escrow closes,
and
to make sure.
And if I do, and if it changes, now what?
Debt to income ratios have changed, and you now no longer qualify for that loan, and the entire transaction is dead.
I'm dealing with that right now. I have someone who, they didn't necessarily go get new debt or new, but they had I guess they were increased. They were able to get more, and took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of screwed them up a little bit. So yeah.
So be careful of that.
I want to pull out my hair.
So we'll talk about the 10 don'ts. So you can't say you don't know, because Keisha and Tanisha are telling you now. Do not pack your papers too early. Underwriters might ask for documents throughout the transaction, so as you're preparing,
they're going to do it. You guys,
you're going to get asked for documents all through the transaction. Don't yell at your lender and say, "Oh my gosh, they just keep asking me for all these things." These days, because of the last crisis, lenders are crossing their T's and dotting their I's, and so they're going to keep asking you for documents up until the day escrow closes. Get used to it. It's a part of the transaction.
It's all about the risk. These investors out here, they want to be certain that there's not going to be any problems with that particular loan that they purchase. So it's all a risk thing. You know what I mean? And so we have to appease the investors, you guys. So I'm sorry that if you have to continuously
it's just something you got to be prepared to do.
Prepared to do it.
Number 2, I actually already said, don't go out there and get that charge card on an account, because that is going to go against your credit and it will disqualify you for the loan. Just don't do it. I like to tell my clients, do not use your social security number. Don't give it out. And actually, one of these is going to be on there, don't co-sign for anybody. Another one, don't make large cash deposits. Your lender will want to know where all of those deposits come from in your bank account. And so you will have to account for that information. So just don't do it. Anything that gets put in there, what did you just say?
Well, I was going to elaborate on that a little bit. We call it sourcing. So we're going to want to know where this money comes from.
Yes.
If it doesn't look like it's a normal deposit from like your payroll, then we're going to ask about it.
Right.
And if it looks too crazy, we're going to need to get a paper trail from it. So not only are we going to need a letter of explanation about what is this, if depending upon what it is and how much it is, okay, where did it come from? Now we need a statement from where that came from.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So we can get a little cray in this world.
Don't make us crazy.
Don't make us crazy.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay? Don't start a new job. A job could mean a break in your income or a break in your compensation history, which could stall the loan process. Consult with your mortgage lender to find out how you need to navigate that decision that you might be making when you're thinking about changing jobs.
And it's okay. It's okay to change jobs.
Yeah.
We just need, there can be a gap in employment. We need lots of documentation.
Yes, because there needs to be a continual paper trail that you are going to get paid, keep getting paid, and not going to stop being paid.
Correct.
I was in a situation where there was a buyer who was purchasing my client's home. They came from overseas. They were working overseas. They came here to do some training for a new job, but technically over on their job, they had them out as on leave. But they were still being paid. So it turned out to be a nightmare. The bank forced that buyer to deposit $30,000 into the account, which was going to cover the time frame that he'd be here before he got back there, to make sure that when the transaction closed, he could still pay for it. So you just don't want to start new jobs. Don't wait to sell your stock if you're using it for a down payment. And that should start at the very beginning. The process of selling your stock, if you're using, and I would say, even if you're using money from any of your investments, if you've got a retirement account, start that process early.
Yes.
It's better to start the process early rather than wait until the end, because in the end, if it takes more time, it's going to extend the transaction, and then things can get bumpy because you go into a transaction with only so many days to process it.
Absolutely. And then a little bit of piece on that too. If you are thinking, okay, I have a retirement, I can pull this money out and use it. There's a lot of caveats within that. There's only a certain amount you can use. There's a lot of details, so you're definitely going to connect with the company you have your 401k with and your lender to figure out the specific guidelines for that account that you have, because they all vary and there's lots of variations, and you don't want to get caught up thinking that, oh, I have a down payment already, it's good to go, it's in my 401k, I'm going to pull it out, I'm good. And then all of a sudden we get involved and now it's a challenge, and now you have no money that you can pull out because there's restrictions. So you just got to make sure that you're being educated by your loan officer about that specific account. Or you can just call me and I'm going to hook you up with the details on that. I'll do the legwork for you, so you know. Anyway, next.
So next, don't be careless with rental security deposits. So it's not okay to plan on using your security deposit toward your last month's rent, because your rental history must be verified. Skipping a payment or registering a late payment could negatively impact your loan approval.
For sure.
So that's, if you're renting and you're switching over to buying, just be careful of that. Don't ignore duplicate requests for documentation. Again, we can't emphasize this enough. You are going to be asked for paperwork throughout the entire transaction. If not every day, every other day. If not every other day, a few times a week. Respond, respond, respond.
Please.
Any delay, any lag time is on you. You can't blame it on your lender. You can't blame it on your agent. They're dealing with a lot of different transactions every day. Yours is not the only transaction they're dealing with. I always encourage my clients, if my lenders ask you for something, you better have it to them yesterday. Get on it.
Okay.
So, want to be my client? No. So, anyway, I actually am a very kind agent.
Surely, yes.
I am.
It's very thorough.
Yes. But, so anyway, don't forget to pay your bills. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Forgot to ask you guys to share.
Share.
Press the share button.
Please
if you're watching right now, press the share button.
Tag your friends and share.
Yes.
Please.
So other people can get this information and stay tagged and tuned in to Keisha and Tanisha.
Hi. Boom. Holler at us. Okay.
Yes. So don't forget to pay your bills. We understand buying a home can be hectic, but even if a credit report has been run once, it's going to be run again before closing. Remember that. they're going to run that credit report again. So keep paying your bills. Stay consistent. You might think you're home free, or you might think not paying this bill will help you save up some money so that you can put it toward the house or the purchase or something. But if that bill is skipped and it was previously showing up on your credit report when you got qualified as paid, and now they run your credit report at the end and it's skipped, guess who just lost the house that you were in contract on? No bueno.
Last time I checked, it's pretty tough in this market right now.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, so if you get in a transaction, you should be jumping for joy, and you should be crossing your T's, dotting your I's.
Thank you, Jesus.
Doing
all the
everything.
above. Okay.
Woo-hoo. Doing everything on time. Yes.
We'll go there sometime.
Okay. And then number 9, don't toss blank pages. Clients often toss the last page of a bank statement. She about to go large Marge on y'all.
Listen to this.
When you toss the last page of your bank statement, at the bottom of that page, it says intentionally left blank. But guess who needs to
I intentionally need it though. Okay?
If you got 9 of 10 pages and the 10th page is missing, you in trouble. You're going to have to go to your bank and pay to have those statements pulled sometime so that you can get that last blank page.
Tanisha, I don't understand why it's blank. Why do you even need it? Just get me there.
Don't worry about why.
Okay,
sometimes you just don't need to know why. You just need to do it.
Just get it. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm sorry.
If the bottom of the page says so many of 10 pages or so many of a certain number of pages, they need to see all of those pages.
In all your statements. Yeah.
Send it in.
Please.
So, if you ever wondered why, now that myth has just been explained.
Yep.
Sort of. And number 10, don't discard your pay stubs. I know a lot of people now get paid electronically, so that shouldn't be an issue for most of us. But for some of you who still get paper checks, hold on to those pay stubs. You need to save the most current copies of your pay stubs, your bank statements, and other key financial documents until the transaction closes. Okay?
I know everybody's online.
Yeah.
I know everybody wants to do everything online. At least millennials, I know you guys are all about online, and I get it. But when it comes to a mortgage transaction, we need paper.
Yes.
We just have to have it just the way that it is. The investors want to see it at the end of the day. So keep it.
Yes.
Keisha, those were awesome don'ts.
Yeah,
I love those don'ts. That's
I'm
fantastic.
glad.
I almost had a heart attack over here about telling us.
Yeah.
But you guys, that's do we need, what else do we got going on?
Well, you know, I think that the biggest thing is make sure that you share so that your friends know that you're watching this.
That's the big thing.
Yeah,
she's right about that.
The biggest thing is sharing.
Absolutely.
But other than that, we don't want to hold you too much longer. So those are just some basics about qualifying for the loan. 540 minimum score.
580.
580.
Yeah.
Ooh, 580
Almost.
minimum score. I got so excited about the next one in the sweet spot.
Yes.
What's the sweet spot score?
Sweet spot. 640.
640. 640 is the sweet spot score. 640 is the score that gets you more.
Score to get you more. Hey, score to get you more. Score.
I don't know if I like that beat.
Okay.
We gotta come up with another beat. That sounded too cheesy.
I'm tired.
Off the top.
It's hot. Okay. It's 110 outside. I'm not
we're
ready.
about to let you go because she getting delirious with
I'm
cheesy
getting a little
songs.
delirious, guys. We thank you. So hey, make sure you stay tagged and tuned in to Real Talk with
Keisha
and Tanisha,
where we bring you positively positive real talk about real estate and more.
Thank you.